Hello Libra friends, I'm Annie Botticelli and welcome to my Libra November 2024 Astrology Horoscope Forecast. Calling the theme of this month for Libra, wild windfalls. Money drops out of the blue, and I'm going to go into lots of details about the layers of potential that lead me to summarize this month that way. But of course, it's very difficult to encapsulate a very detailed reading in just one or two sentences, so we have a lot more to go into than that. This is for you if Libra is your sun sign, your moon sign, your rising sign, or any other Libra placement you're listening for. What I'm going to talk about here is part of your astrological picture. If you're a very late degree Libra friend, so birthdays like October 15th through the rest of the sign, or Libra degrees 23 degrees through the rest of the sign, I suggest you additionally listen to my Scorpio report, as your very late degree friends will benefit from both readings. Podcast friends, I'm dropping the chart that I'm using in as your thumbnail, so if you want to take a peek. YouTube friends, I will be working on the chart. If you don't want to see me working on the chart, you can just scroll up on the screen so you don't see the video but you hear me, or you can listen in the podcast version. Podcast friends, if you want to see me working on it, you can find Annie Botticelli YouTube to see this indicated report there. Okay, so of course, this is a massively amazing time for Libras in general, and the possibilities for wild windfalls of all kinds, not just financial, are definitely very, very, very hot because we are still at the tail end of the Libra eclipse season, September and October. Very big, life-changing circumstances for Libras. Big eclipse in Libra in October. News could still be coming in from that. And, so we're just in a very, very profound time of possibilities for Libra in general and things coming out of the blue in general. But I do have some other specific reasons why I'm calling this the theme, besides the fact that we are at the tail end of eclipse season that features you. But I just wanted to preface all of that. So something else, let's see, I'm just going to go in order of the chart flow here. Going to be focused very much first on the bottom left of the chart, because this is where a massive amount is going on. So I'm just going to give you some little highlights here. We still have Vesta transiting South Node, Lilith, and Astrea in Libra. And we have a lot of Scorpio energy too that makes this time very focused on relationships. Vesta in Libra is a great time to focus on aligning your personal identity with your commitments to balance and to self-care and purpose within relationships. Transiting South Node is telling of this storyline of the Libra Aries eclipse cycle that's still in process into the first half of 2025 that started in early 2023. This is very much about embracing your shadow side, especially shadow beliefs within relationships. This could be a time of reclaiming personal power and how you present yourself, because all of these Libra placements are moving through your first house. So me versus we is inseparable with this. Lilith here can definitely add to the story of, defying societal expectations, clearing out repressed feelings and emotions, and anything having to do with outdated ways of seeing yourself and presenting yourself, things that don't resonate with you anymore, to bring a more balanced approach to yourself and your relationships. We also have Astrea here, and Astrea can help you focus on healing, healing your physical body, healing perceptions that you have about yourself, and, just connecting more into your humanity and your human side. Balance, harmony, autonomy versus, interconnection. All of these are themes that are still coming up strongly now. And this first house being full is a very robust, vibrant physical expression. So you may need more physical activity. This also can be a time to focus on your physical appearance, but we are within the web. All of November, we have Mercury retrograde. We have a deepening Mars retrograde. I'll talk about that more later. But just to add context to this now, this would be a time to experiment with different things for your appearance, not necessarily do anything permanent or not easily changeable if possible, because the transits are more short-term from that perspective. Okay, so let's talk about now the movement through the second house, and this is part of the energy of those wild windfalls. The story of Taurus is going to have multiple lines of energy, and I will add those to you as we go here. I'm going to cross the moon out because the moon is there in Scorpio at the beginning of the month. November 1st is that new moon at 9 degrees of Scorpio. and you can make your new moon wishes about everything scorpionic here, which we'll be talking about. Deep relationships with intimacy with others, financial relationships, your relationship with the mysterious unknown, your spiritual connections. You can plant a lot of seeds along those lines in the days around November 1st, but that will be very fleeting. The sun will be lighting up the second house for the vast majority of the month, and Mercury will just be there for a few days. The sun in that placement can illuminate the need to deeply transform this viewpoint on finances and empower your financial outlook and empower how you see yourself as a financial, as a money maker and as a money earner and as a money user. So this is a really great time for elucidation. The sun can show you, just like a spotlight in a bright, in a dark room, you can see the beautiful things. So you can have some really great financial things just happen from the sun being there. And you can also have more gratitude for the things that you do have. The sun there also can show you the things that are problems, like the cracks in the wall, the spider webs or the dust. So whenever the spotlight goes there, you can see for better or worse the ways that you can make improvements, and that can have tremendous value. Mercury there, even just for a short time, can definitely promote this deep investigatory approach towards, what is standing in the way of their financial, accomplishments. You can be encouraged to have these deeply transformative financial conversations with yourself and with others. And so as we start adding to this financial windfall list, I'm going to start giving you some dates. Okay, so just having energy in the second house is enough for money to come in out of nowhere. But then we've got transit. So in the days around the 4th, actually right at the beginning of the month, still left over from the last couple of days of October and the beginning here of November, we've got a trine with Neptune with Mercury in your money house. Okay, so that's one check of the windfall. We've got just the sun and Mercury transiting there to begin with, another check for windfall. We've got the new moon, new beginnings, check for windfall. Scorpio which are the transits, and Taurus, which is the house, is the money polarity. It's my money versus our money. Shared money versus individual income. Money coming out of the blue for money that you earn or that come from other people's money that you benefit from. So we've got all these checks. Then you add in the transit right at the beginning, beautiful trine, most favorable aspect in all of astrology with Neptune. That's another check for these possibly wild windfalls. Then in the days around the 4th, you've got the sun coming to make this trine with Neptune. There's another check for the wild windfall potential. Then I take that back. The days around the 4th, the sun is actually going to trine Saturn, bringer of manifestation of material things. Then on the 18th, so that's the 4th. Then on the 18th, the sun will come and trine Neptune. Okay, so those are more checks. Okay, so we talked about the sun with Saturn as this first one, then the sun with Neptune as this next one. So you can see all of our wild windfall checks are just racking up. Now, the second house is the house of earned money. The energy of Scorpio is shared money or shared resources and other people's money. And then the 6th house is a work house of like your vocation and the things that you do and your daily experience. So the trines are bringing in, your individual work. If you're self-employed, this can be, clients or contracts that come in. If you have a job, this could mean raises, this could mean promotions, this could mean bonuses, okay, things like that from your money that you do all the time. So these checks of these potentials are just getting racked up. Now, I do want to go back to talk about some other things here in this bottom left sector, but while we're on the windfall topic, I just want to add to our checks here, okay? Because it's fun. It's fun to make check marks and it's fun to substantiate these wild windfall potentials and money dropping out of the blue that I have as our theme here. So the next thing is that in the days around November 15th, we've got a full moon in Taurus, 24 degrees. And Taurus is the sign that rules the second house of money. It's showing up as a full moon in your house of Scorpio, which is the other people's money, and lotto and sweepstakes and, tax credits and just money that can come out of anywhere, spousal money, family money, inheritances, things like that. So the whole month, all of the second house and eighth house things are accentuated. But we do have hot spots on these days, the right at the beginning of the month with Mercury and Neptune. Then on the 4th with the Sun and Saturn. Then on the 18th with the Sun and Neptune. Then in the days around the 25th, we also have this full moon. And this full moon is conjunct Uranus, which is the wild card, which is, anything coming from out of the blue. So the fullness, completion, fruition, possibly drama, manifestation in the earthy full moon, Taurus energy in the days around the 15th is then conjunct Uranus, the wild card, where things can really come out of the blue and become elucidated in this house of other people's money, in the sign of your own income and benefits from money. So you can see we're really racking these up here. Now I'm going to add in, okay, did I make a check mark for that one yet? No, I didn't. Okay, so check mark that it's full moon in the Taurus sign for money. Check mark that it's full moon in your house of money. Check mark that Uranus can bring windfalls and wild things. Okay, so you see our checks here are adding. Now I've got more. Jupiter, even though it's retrograde, is still in your ninth house of expanded possibilities, luck. And in Gemini, from May 2024 through June of 2025, it's actually trining your air placements for a long time. And Jupiter brings windfalls of money and luck and benevolence as well. So you have all of that going on, and this can have to do with teaching, learning, efforts along those lines, international business. It can have to do with anything have to do with publishing or speaking, or where you're taking information and you're sharing it and disseminating it. So we have another check mark there. Now we could get kind of crazy and just add one. This is not one of my original set, but Mars is moving into Leo imminently. And it will spend quite a bit of time there because, we're working into this retrograde energy, but it's not retrograde yet. And once it goes into Leo, it will be at a much better angle for Libras. And here, if there's any financial windfall to be had, it would be coming from your connections with other people, your acquaintances, your networking. So if you need money or if you need support for your ideas, or you need clients or customers, or you need a job, your group, team, community sector is where it's at. And this is going to be for an extended period of time, making that nice angle of 60 degrees of open possibilities of ingredients on a counter for Libra. So you can see now why I'm so excited about these potentials. But there are some other things to talk about. So I'm going to get into those too. So I've given you quite a few dates, and in every horoscope report, I do give you a lot of dates. I want to also put in the reminder, and I will touch in about this again later, that if you like the dates and you like them in order and you like the sweet days of the month and the salty days of the month, then definitely go to anniehelpsyou.com, put your name and email address in, click the receive button, get the welcome letter in your inbox. Unless it's gone to spam, you can move it. Click on the archive link and then put November 2024 astrology to get my write-up for the month. And that will show you the aspects to be most awareful and careful of, my favorite aspects of the month, if you have to align with doing important things or just hide under a rock. Speaking of which, right at the beginning of the month, I'm just going to issue the hide under a rock warning. Pluto and Mars in opposition, ouch. I'd say at least 5 days before and after, so the end of October, and the first, 5 to even 7, just the first week in November, we'll be cautious here of power struggles and accidents and aggravated people becoming dangerous and people flying off the handle and losing their temper and conflicts and difficulties having to do with home and work and family and business and power and all of that. So yuck, be careful, and that's all I'm going to say about that. I do talk about it more in that report, but I just wanted it to be down for you. Okay, so now let's talk about the way that Sagittarius is hijacking the Scorpio-dominated month and how that can be a really good thing. And then I'm going to start another checklist. Okay, so we already have established our very extensive wild windfall checklist. Now I want to talk about my checklist as to some ways that this month can possibly be much easier than September and October that we're walking out of. The first thing to know is that we are still in eclipse season, but it's really the tail end. I did lead with talking about that. This is especially poignant seeing as you all were targeted, but you may see news and events and things coming in still November and beyond from the eclipses. But in general, it's much less hot. Okay, we're phasing out the bubbles underneath the boiling pot of water, starting to get a little bit more calm. We're getting into integration mode of the information and the experiences that happened, of things getting worked into your new normal. Okay, so that's one check mark for our yay list here. Okay, and then the next is that we just have less transits than we did in October. It was a very, very, very busy sky in October, and it's just less busy now. So there are less aspects, period. We still do have, so I'm going to put a check mark there. We still do have a nice, not as great a ratio between sweet and salty. We've got a few more annoying aspects this month compared to sweet ones, but that ratio is much more favorable with there being much less nuisance aspects compared to sweet ones. And we do have at least 7 sweet aspects this month, which I do review in the November 2024 astrology when you go to anniehelpsyou.com. But I did give you a few of those dates already, the 4th, the 18th. But that will make it much lighter, just the fact that there are less aspects and the fact that the ratio is a little bit better. And then the fact that we've got a lot of Sagittarius energy, much more so than we usually have starting from the beginning of November. Usually it's Scorpio dominated, very emotional, not flowing well with your air energy at all. But because Venus is there, even in October, but from the beginning of the month, Venus is there, Pallas Athena is there. Right at the beginning of the month, Mercury joins the Sagittarius party. Fire planets are much better for Libra than water planets are. So just check yay for that. And then I'm going to throw an extra check in just for the fact that there's a lot of Sagittarius energy, and I'm not just biased because I'm a Sagittarius. It just is a more free and light and less emotional and, more fun, expansive type of energy compared to what we usually have with the Scorpio energies. And of course, they could be great for things. We already talked about some of what that could be great for, but there's just not as much of it, which I think is helpful. Okay, so the sun will get there November 23rd. Mercury will get there November 30th into December 1st. There's actually a new moon there as well. That new moon for Eastern time zone people and west of us, because I'm in the Eastern time zone too, that moon is actually going to be a black moon, because you remember me saying November 1st was a Scorpio new moon. So if there's a second new moon in a calendar month, that second one is a black moon. But those of you who are east of the Eastern time zone, you won't be having it happen until December 1st. So it's not technically a black moon for you. But you all in the Europe and kind of over that way from the Eastern time zone to the right, you all will have your black moon in the days around December 30th, because that's when the Cap new moon will come and be the second new moon for you all. So black moons just mean extra introspection, extra seed planting possibilities for that energy. Let's talk about what all of this Sagittarius energy can bring. Mercury in Sagittarius in the Sag sign in the 3rd Gemini house, fellow air sign ruled house here, can bring joy, just sparking joy, period. Can bring expansion in social circles, coupled with the Leo Mars movement in the 11th house. The 11th house and the 3rd house are both very social houses. So, sparking joy, expanding social interactions, lighting up intellectual pursuits, fostering new connections, but also going back to old ones. And that's how that retro starts creeping in here, okay? I guess I'll go to the retro after. I want to talk a little more about the Sag energy in your Gemini house first. Adventurous conversations can be happening, expansive, just like broad experiences and conversations and travel, long distance and short distance. The 3rd house is short travel and near, and the Sagittarius, which is the 9th house, but you're having it expressed through these planets through Sag here, is long distance travel and far away travel. So the sun here is definitely going to highlight curiosity, adventure, learning, teaching, communicating, illuminating, opportunities to explore new ideas and to share those ideas and to look into more knowledge and to feel really lit up with this. The Sagittarius new moon in the third house is definitely a chance to set bold new intentions and wishes for growth in communication and education with writing and publishing and speaking and things involving your community. And then in general, things like immigration, studying something, teaching something is all really broadened, plus travel. Okay, so now we have to get into this retrograde discussion because the whole month is covered in retrograde, and this is a mist that we will look through all of the month, and all of the things that I've talked about, we'll have to look through this retrograde lens. So let's build our dates here. October 8th is when Mars shadow pre-retrograde shadow period started. So all October, all November, this is deepening. Here we are in November. It's getting deeper every day with the official Mars retrograde on December 6th. Okay, so that's the timeline for Mars. We'll talk about the timelines and we'll talk about what to expect. Then let's talk about Mercury. November 8th will begin the pre-shadow transit. 25th is the official retrograde. December 14th is the day it goes direct. Of course, these dates can be different depending on your time zone. This is roundabout. January 3rd is the stretch of the post-shadow transit. So all of November and all of December is covered in Mercury retrograde. First big thing to know there, try to get your holiday shopping done early. Things will be less broken, more liked, better, more on time, and there'll be less confusion and returns and all of that if you can do that before November 8th. I do put these out early so that you can work on this, but if you want them even earlier, that actually is a perk when you sign up at anyhelpsyou.com. You do get access to my reports before the public does. And you can get access to them even earlier than the newsletter list does when you join my secret star portal, which you can also see on that page. And that also gives you my retrograde and direct calendar for 2025, which has all the open dates, which there aren't that many of them, so you have for your planning purposes. Okay, so for right now, though, you want to leave room for last minute magic. Okay, so when we talk about retrogrades, I always like to bring our spider in. During the times where the energies are direct, we want you actively weaving and pushing and, building as many webs as possible. But in retrograde, this is a time to hang out in the web and to wait for food to come to you. And then, if you leave yourself as unscheduled as possible, you can literally pounce on the last minute magic and last minute opportunities that retrogrades tend to bring. You can be actively repairing your webs, making repairs, but trying to push out and expand your scope is going to be a little bit more difficult when it comes to forcing things or making things happen. So this is a time, November is to be on the shore. Okay, you're on the shore. The tides are coming in. And so if you try to put something out, like a message in a bottle or a boat to get off the deserted island, the tides are going to push you back. Everything's coming in, okay? So that means that it's not time to try to do your ambitious launches that you want to be intact for a long time. It's not time to push out your new business unless you want it to be short term. Like I have started businesses during retrograde before, but that's when they were intended to be short term. Some of them were because I didn't realize that this was a problem, and then they just lost a terrible amount of money, and I learned lessons, which I now try to convey to you. But definitely being an entrepreneur on a path of astrology has been a very eye-opening experience. All of the businesses that I've seen open in retrogrades, like local ones, have had a shorter shelf life than expected. So if you have to put a lot of money into something and you really need it to work out, November might not be the best time to launch those businesses. But what could be great is your, 6 to 9 month pet sitting business that you're going to do in the interim until your other things work out, or your short term, like it's really good for short term stuff. But it might not be the best for long term things. Okay, this is a great time though for promotions, like something intended to be short term. If you're starting like a Black Friday promotion, or something that's intended to be short term, it's great for that. But in general, the more you try to schedule, the more chaotic it will be, and the more you'll be on the phone changing that. Things scheduled for this time will be called into question. Things that are sure and set will be called into question. And things may work out, but not without some drama of worrying about whether it's going to happen or not. So leave yourself as unscheduled as possible is the point. And you can say yes when surprise things come through. So every Libra can have extra goodies coming from the nice angle from these Sag placements in general. The new moon at the very end of the month is going to be at 9 degrees. So those of you who are in the days right around September 30th, October 1st, October 2nd, you may get the biggest kiss from that new moon. And we'll stretch it out even to say like September 25th through October 6th or 7th. You may get more oomph from that new moon, but you're not going to be left out of it if you're in the other zone. Just wanted to mention it because that will tie in. But everybody gets all the goodies from the Sun movement through Sag, the Venus movement, and the Pallas Athena movement. But those goodies might be spread out and come before November or after, depending on your placement. But in general, a time of rest and recuperation from the changes that have come, a more chill time, a more relaxed time, a less astrologically busy time, but a more socially busy time. You'll definitely be busy, but the decrease in busyness of the stars can help you enjoy that time more. Okay, so I've given you some dates to note for this month. If you want more dates because you want to see the sweet dates, the salty dates, when are the best days to do what? When are the best days to be awareful and careful of? Then go to anniehelpsyou.com, put your name and email address, and then click receive. And then you'll get into your inbox my welcome letter. In the archive, click on the archive link and put November 2024 astrology in the archive link, and that will bring you to my November write-up. Okay, so plus you'll get all kinds of goodies, and I'm always thinking of new ways to get goodies to my free VIP crew, which is what you become when you sign up there. You'll get my free 28-day, very comprehensive virtual coaching program for free. You'll get a Train Your Brain subliminal audio to relax and unwind to help you stay calm during tough astrological transits. You'll access my wonderland of astrology education to help you align with the natural rhythms of the month. I do send out monthly mini astrology lessons, and you do have access to all the archives as a member of my free VIP community. You also get access to my Eclipse resource page to understand those cycles as they go through, and my health tips for the zodiac signs. So you just get so much. You can find it all in the welcome letter, so you can go there. Now on that same page, if you scroll down, you can access my secret star portal. This is where you will find my 2025 retrograde direct calendar for your planning, to know the open windows for next year, the times that will be much easier to push things out when the tides are going out. And if you want to learn astrology, I'm your girl. I've got a ton of free things. Obviously, if you're listening to my work, you see that I'm teaching for free online. But if you want a more structured system and you want to learn how to become a professional astrologer, either just to help yourself and your family and friends or to earn money, that is my area of expertise. I've been teaching astrology for 20 years. I've been a successful astrologer for 20 years. And also a successful online practitioner for a good bit of that time. And it all comes through in my Become a Professional Astrologer Mastery course. So you can click on Up Level there and see my basics course, or what you get that course for free when you join the Professional Astrology Certification course. I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.